everyone, welcome back to Fraud on the Telly. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down and going over everything that happened in Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 56, an episode in which our party finally journey to Molaesmyr, the ancient city of the elves, to discover potential secrets and forbidden hidden knowledge about one super bad evil guy, FraudOnTheTele. As well, later on in this video, I'm going to be discussing my thoughts, predictions about the future of Critical Role Campaign 3 and how our party structure is currently split into two subgroups at the moment. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's just get right into it, shall we? So we last left off, our party is currently divided into two groups, a Wildmount group that is in Uthadurn, which is what the last 5 episodes and the next few episodes have covered, and our second group, which is still stuck in Marquette, who we've heard basically nothing about as of yet. Like we said, our group in Wildmount is adventuring to the city of Molaesmyr, the ancient city of the elves that has been long corrupted as it is in the Savalir wood, the heavily corrupted and cursed wood in the northern regions of Wildmount. Our party are venturing there, hopefully to find secrets and information about one FraudOnTheTele, who lived in this ancient village long ago before its corruption, and from our theory, which you can go check out, click the eye above, and this seems to be a pretty common theory in the fan base, that it was actually FraudOnTheTele who brought about the destruction, the corruption of Molaesmyr many years ago, when it is theorized that he attempted his ruinous ritual on an apogee solstice all of those years ago, but it went wrong, corrupting the city of Molaesmyr. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, not a lot really happened in this episode. It was more of a kind of a fun, jovial episode. There was a bunch of funny moments, but there wasn't really any big overall mega plot shift here. One of the biggest things that happens in this episode happens towards the beginning, where FCG casts Commune and manages to communicate with the Changebringer. This is important for FCG's character because this is the first time that they've had any kind of contact, direct contact, or been taken notice by a god, by an entity like a god. Obviously, FCG's relationship with his divine magic in the gods is very interesting, seeing as he is an Aormaton that necessarily wasn't a worshiper of the gods. Obviously, this makes me think and brings us links to a certain knight of Aabria that we saw in EXU Calamity, who also had divine powers without links to the gods, but now FCG has made this first step, this first link to the Changebringer. Apparently this link is strong enough to which the Changebringer actually noticed FCG, this tiny little robot. FCG asked a few questions. What we mainly learn from the Changebringer is that yes, they are in some kind of danger, and yes, the gods do seem worried in some kind of a way. I am very curious to see what's going to happen with the future of FCG's character and his relationship to the gods. In my opinion, some of the best roleplay that you can get from Dungeons and Dragons comes from this religion characters, from roleplay with these, these mini deities, and especially in a campaign like this, where much of our party members are very anti-god, and then there is this very anti-god sentiment that just runs through the entire story of Campaign 3. It's going to be very interesting to see just how this relationship develops between FCG and the Changebringer. Like I said, not a ton happened in this episode. Basically, over the course of 3 or 4 days, our party managed to travel through the Savalir wood, encountering a number of different scary beasts, eventually arriving in Molaesmyr. There was a really funny, kind of interesting moment that happened earlier on in the travel of this episode, where Aabria's character, Deanna, for some reason, just brutally out of nowhere, murders one of their riding goats when she learns that they aren't going to be able to take it on the raft that they've made. Now, this caused a bit of controversy in Twitch chat, in Reddit, on the fan base. A bunch of people having some issues with Aabria's character just very violently out of nowhere murking this riding goat. I don't really have a ton to say about this. Yes, it was violent and came out of nowhere, but in reality, this just seemed more kind of like a bit. As well, we've seen in the past so far from Aabria's character, Deanna, that she doesn't seem to really value animals all that much. She uses them to knit. She shears these sheep. To her, it very much seems to be just a commodity. Her character doesn't seem to actually value the life of the animal, but hey, who knows? I think at the end of the day, this was really just a bit, and it was a funny and absolute hilarious cluster of a bit, but obviously some people are going to feel a certain kind of way, and I think a lot of this may just have to do with the fact that some people just don't like Aabria, guys. This happens all the time with guest characters throughout the history of Critical Role. Aabria is no exception. She definitely has her haters. It also doesn't help because a lot of people did not like her Exandria Unlimited series in which she DM'd. So I think at the end of the day, this is just a small vocal minority of the fan base who had a problem with this. People are always going to find problems with roleplay. At the end of the day, people can't just sit back and enjoy the roleplay for what it is. There's always going to be some over-invested fans out there. Moving on, we had one of Matt's most beautiful, I have to say, battle maps of any that I've seen so far on the show. The lighting in this battle map was just absolutely awesome. I'm not the biggest fan of combat in D&D 5e. Most of the time when I'm watching Critical Role combat, I either skip through it or watch it on like 2x speed, because most of the time, I personally don't find it that entertaining, but I did really love this battle map in this episode. Our party finally arrive in the ancient corrupted city of Molaesmyr. They see ancient bodies strewn all over the city, as well as a very creepy elk-esque creature, and our episode ends. And yes, that was really basically everything that happened in this episode. It seems like possibly we're going to have one more episode, possibly maybe 2 more episodes with this Uthadern Savalirwood group. I imagine they're going to investigate Molaesmyr. They're going to uncover, I would imagine, very important information about one Ludinus Delath, and then return back to Uthadern to where they will receive their teleportation magic that is owed to them, sending them back to Wildmount. So far, we've had 5 episodes with the Uthadern group, and if we take into account that there's going to be at least one more, that's going to be 6. I'm very curious to know if there's going to be around 5 or 6 episodes of the other group that is still in Marquette, because obviously we need to know what happens to the Marquette group while the Uthadern group is doing their thing. So we can assume that it's probably going to be another 4, 5, maybe even 6 episodes of the other group. If this is true, that means it's not going to be until like what, middle to late June before we see our party reconvened once more in Marquette. That's a really long time, especially considering the last time our party were together, we basically had an event that was almost the end of the world, the releasing of some ancient evil known as Predathos. It's been weeks since then, and starting with our Uthadern group, it almost feels like that was a fever dream. I kind of almost forget that there was this crazy event that happened that almost destroyed the entire world of Exandria. It's hard to know what's going to happen in the future of Campaign 3. Personally, I really hope we get some really big payoff in the next episode in the discoveries in Molaesmyr, and then we're also going to need some really big payoff, in my opinion, with the group that's still stuck in Marquette, or else it's going to feel like we basically had, I don't know, almost 10 potential episodes of filler, really, in between an absolutely cataclysmic event. I'm not kind of complaining too much. I think a lot of this had to do with maybe extenuating circumstances, such as Marissa's participation in creator class and her training for her boxing event. If you guys want to see my thoughts and opinions about creator class 2 and how Marissa did, click the eye above. It's really just hard to know. Personally, I don't mind the stalling, the 2 separations of our groups and players, and the addition of guest characters, as long as we get payoff that makes it feel worth it. I really need to hear some crazy information about Ludinus and Molaesmyr on the next episode of Critical Role, or else there might be some problems. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think will happen in the future of Campaign 3? When do you think our party will finally reconvene together once again? And what crazy information do you think we're going to learn in Molaesmyr? As always, guys, I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Until next time, peace, love, Adu.
Picked you up in my pop's car, went for a ride. Couldn't no one tell us nothing. That night was ours. All the stars aligned and you were so damn fine. Yeah, it was young love, young hearts were so pure. We trust love is so hard to endure. A few years passed, made the move out west.